Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's talk about the Mage Punk Gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I think you're right to an extent.
Not a lot. They both big butts. So
Good enough.
We still have to do the clap intro.
Really? You want to?
everybody clap
Yeah,
on
you have to.
three.
It's our thing now.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Chris just clap.
Okay. All right. Well,
Clap.
welcome to the Eastin and Feastin podcast. We got the usual suspects. Me, Nick, Chris. How's it going?
Oh, not so bad. You know, had a tennis tourney. Had to pick up a couple dubs on the way.
That's always good. Ben, how is it?
You know me. Just chimping.
Yep, as usual. And our
course.
resident Islanders fan. How's it going?
Not too great, but what'll do.
All right. Well, we're talking about
Big road.
a few things today. Playoff. We're gonna start with playoff predictions / matchups, and then we are gonna talk a bit about the TV deal, and later on some meat cooking.
It's a hot
So,
hot button topic.
Yeah, kind of a mixed
Serious
bag
issue,
today.
Very serious issue.
All right. So let's
Welcome
start
to the
out.
foodie edition.
Welcome to the fruity edition of the
don't
Eastin
even
and
get me
Feastin.
started.
This puts the feasting in the title.
Watch some food
Um,
reels.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so let's start off with some playoff predictions / matchups. All right, who wants to go first?
Well, I don't know. You go first. I don't really know what you want to talk about for this. You have your set.
So
things all
I
set, so.
basically just made a list of who I think is going to make it, and basically who's the home team. So
All right, fair enough.
I will start with the East because that's kind of the more obvious one. I got
Atlantic or
this is just I'm going first. I'm going first seeds.
Just go and feast.
And then, so I'm basically, I did the best team, like whoever's gonna finish first,
Yeah.
like in the conference, and then the second team. So basically, first from each division, and then the 2 and 3s. So we got Florida versus Tampa. I think Tampa's gonna be wild card 2. And then I got Carolina versus Washington. Toronto versus Boston. I think Toronto finishes ahead of Boston. And Rangers versus Pittsburgh. Should we talk about that first? Or should I do the Western?
Go with your Western. I'd say go with your Western.
Yeah.
Your Westerns
okay.
first. Yeah.
Or
Alright,
we can just argue about what we think he's wrong about in the East, if anything.
I mean, I think if we take a look at that, because I mean, at least in the East, it's pretty much there's 8 teams. It's just about where they're going to finish.
Mm.
For sure.
Oh, I thought Carolina had more points on the
Yeah,
Rangers.
and
We're tied.
honestly, I don't think that the Metros, the only spots that are going to move in the Metro are only 1 and 2, anyways.
I think
Yeah.
they're trying to
Okay.
push the Lightning down right now, so they play Florida. I think the league wants a Florida series for the viewership.
Yeah, for all those Floridian fans.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
I think Bettman has a hand in the cards right now in the wild card spots.
That's a take. That's a take, for sure.
I mean, Bettman's got his paws.
He loves his Rangers. We know that.
and
He does love his
Giving
Rangers.
him Lafreniere,
This is
the
facts.
weighted
Oh,
ball.
yeah.
Can I say, I think, just looking at the Lightning's future schedule, I don't think that's going to be the case because they play.
Like Buffalo like 13 times.
They're playing Buffalo right now.
All Buffalo. Yeah, they're smacking them 5-0.
They play Dallas, Anaheim, Winnipeg, Detroit, Toronto, Nashville, Florida, Columbus twice, and then the Islanders. So they
there's
play a
one
lot
fan.
of teams that they should be beating.
Yeah, I mean, you think if the league wants them to move down, they're losing to basically every playoff team in that schedule, and plus they're probably losing 1 to Columbus and like Anaheim, and then the Caps are gonna have to win a bunch of games.
Yeah.
Which the
That's
Caps
fair.
are hot.
Well,
Beating
might as well
Pittsburgh
roll
and
with them while they're
Boston.
hot.
They beat by Bruins tonight. Yeah.
Pittsburgh
Fire
and Boston.
Bruins.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think I only put Toronto versus Boston. I think Boston wins the series, but I think
Yeah, I think Toronto.
I
And
think
Boston probably
Toronto's
have
got
it.
a 5-point lead, so I don't think Bruins are catching them because they're really hot right now.
I think the only way if that changes is if Toronto starts to cool off, and I don't think they will, especially with the way the Bruins are
The
playing right now.
Lightning pick it
The
up with the weak schedule.
Yeah, I mean it's
I don't
possible
know
the
what the
Bruins
Bruins
fall,
looks
but
like.
I think the Bruins are probably going to stay where. That's the biggest thing for me right now is the top wild card spot could be really any of the top 3 teams in the Atlantic. It's just going to depend on who's hot and who cools off in this last few couple
Yeah.
weeks here.
And strike the schedule.
I think the
already
point
said
we
that.
can all agree on is Tampa Bay is not going to 3-peat.
Yeah.
They have a
Yes,
tough
I
road
will
ahead of
agree
them.
with that.
I mean,
Tampa will not
ahead
I
of them.
think Florida's winning the division. If that's what we're
Do you think Tampa Bay wins the cup?
absolutely not. No
Yeah,
shot.
Okay, so that's all I mean. I don't think Tampa 3-peats.
Because they're not going to play the Islanders in the playoffs, so
Yeah.
there's no way they're going to
Exactly.
win the cup.
Like either way, who they
Mhm.
they play second round is going to be a fat team, especially coming off of who they play in the first week. Like, they're East is good, and it's going to be hard to win, no matter what.
I mean, I think an East team definitely wins it again because the East
Oh,
is
yeah.
far superior. Um,
Okay, should I do my West then?
Well, yeah, no, go for it. Because I have something to
Okay.
say about the West.
All right, so save your gasps till the end. I got Colorado versus Vancouver, Calgary versus Nashville,
just roll with Vancouver.
Minnesota versus St. Louis. I got Minnesota finishing ahead of St. Louis, and Edmonton versus Los Angeles.
You do those one more time.
Edmonton
Okay.
versus LA, you said?
Yeah, I got Colorado
So
versus
you have
Vancouver.
the Canucks in over the Knights, basically.
I have the Canucks in over the Stars.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
Colorado
personally,
versus
I think
Vancouver,
that's
Cap.
Colorado, Minnesota, St. Louis, Edmonton, Kings.
Personally, I think that's cap. I think
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna be Dallas and
I
Vegas.
know
The
what you
Stars-
mean. I know
the
that's not a
Stars-
very hot take.
Are at the same points. The Stars and the Knights are both at
40 or 84.
84, and the Stars have 2 games in hand on them and the Canucks, and they're 4 points ahead of the Canucks. I think that's the tall order for the Canucks to catch them.
Yeah, I had to put a hot take in.
Might as well.
As our commenter CJ wanted some more drama. So yeah, I think
you're gonna get some. It's gonna be tough to get some scrumming going in the Eastin and Feastin podcast when you're talking about the West.
True.
Vancouver. I mean,
like if somebody were to, I don't know, say a certain team from a certain big city in the Northeast is going to win the cup, then whatever.
What if I said the Boston Bruins are
Might
going
have
to
an
win
issue.
the cup?
Might have an issue.
I don't know.
There.
I think I don't think Dallas deserves to be a playoff team.
Well, here's a hot take for you.
But Winnipeg sold the bag this season. So.
Oh, they absolutely did. Well, here's a hot take for you then. Here's a hot take for you. I think if Dallas ends up making playoffs, they go to the conference final. And let me explain my reasoning for that.
Okay.
Dallas is a team that is built like the Islanders of the West. They are built to grind it out.
Strong defense.
If Dallas gets good goaltending, they could very well win the conference, I think. Unless they have to play Colorado.
I like that Scott Wedgwood trade that they made.
I agree.
I mean, they have
right now.
Is Holtby hurt or what?
Probably. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I think
He's on
Holtby's
IR.
just kind of Holtby.
He's
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been solid this season. He must be hurt. Yeah.
Their goaltending has been pretty decent this season.
Yeah,
Odger's been worsening too.
The only
Holtby's
problem is
had a bounce back year, and Odger's been really good.
they have the same problem that the Islanders do. Is when they win games, they don't win by that much, right?
Yeah, I mean, like,
and if they give up 3 goals or 4 goals, right? If they give up 3 or 4 goals, they just lose.
I would say, Matt. Honestly, I think they have better forwards than the Islanders did last year.
Absolutely, I would say so too.
The Islanders, they had names play big, but like
I mean, Tyler Sagan
you look at
alone.
you look at the names that they have in that team. Jason Robertson, he's been awesome this season.
Yeah, he's been nasty. He's really good. If any of their like top forwards can catch fire, they're gonna do pretty well. I think. In playoffs.
I'm kind of scared of that second line that they have because
they are.
Sagan and Ben have just been awful this year.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Is all their guys who have been their go-to dudes in the past are still being overrated, but all their dudes who are actually scoring for them are being underrated.
Right, and
Robertson with
Rupee Hintz and Jason Robinson are both underrated. And then they're like Radulov, Ben, and Sagan all kind of blow now.
Well,
Can I talk about
playoffs is a whole different.
Can I talk about your
yeah,
Nashville
beast.
or not Nashville? Your Vancouver pick, Nicholas.
Go ahead.
So I
Bruce,
honestly
there
think
it is.
I think Vancouver's just like a worse Nashville in a sense. You know what I mean? Like I think their forwards are both really good on those teams, and some of those players have been up and down. And the only difference I see is that Saros is probably a better goalie than Demko, as good as Demko is, and their defense on Nashville is elite. It's really not really elite. It's just one guy. But
I mean, there are other defenders.
I mean, Borowiecki's no slouch.
I mean, they're all pretty good defensively.
Is he still
It's just
leading in
that
PIMS?
Probably.
Yossi's the Ekholm hasn't been great this season. He's been decent defensively, but he's just been bad offensively, and he's usually decently two-way. But Vancouver's offense is a lot worse than Nashville.
Yeah, which is surprising.
Nashville has a
because their
lot of
forwards
guys near a point per game.
Vancouver's forwards should be really good, but I don't see them making
If
playoffs.
JT Miller wanted to make the playoffs and win a cup, then he should have asked Jim Rutherford to go to Pittsburgh.
He also doesn't try. Like
Jim
JT Miller
Rutherford?
just kind of skates around, scores a goal. Like
Yeah,
he
who
puts
else
up like
does
2
that?
points a night. And he
Jack
barely
Eichel.
does it.
Yeah, if he doesn't
Eichel.
try and puts up over a point per game, then
Don't say Alex Ovechkin, Ben.
Jack Eichel.
Nothing.
Alex, do you think Alex Ovechkin doesn't try?
He
I will
tries, but he
also-
only tries on shooting.
I will also talk about Vegas.
You know, all these people that watch
Standing.
Caps games.
I watched one very recently,
So
yesterday.
did I.
So I know you guys are talking about. We just talked about Vancouver. but
Eichel doesn't
think-
try.
Okay.
I will agree with that.
Can we talk about the Knights now?
Absolutely,
ahead.
I would love to.
You were
Speaking
talking
of Jack
about.
The
Eichel.
cap circumcision team.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I think if
Circumvention.
you want to talk about teams that have been hot right now too, and like trying to get back in the playoffs, is definitely the Golden Knights, and it's another team I think that the league, and especially Bettman, wants in the playoffs. 100%.
Well, it's
Yeah,
Vegas.
it's a
I
big
mean,
market,
because
yeah.
their fan base, because of the
Eh.
people that they bring to the game,
It's the betting
uh,
cap.
how good their top players are, the Eichel storyline, like definitely
Mm.
people that they want.
The
in.
fact that they'll be like 30 mil over the cap once the playoffs hit.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the league
And
might
other
want him
things.
over, but the league as an entire, aka like all the GMs and all the teams don't want them to playoffs because
All the
most
ki-
of the
all
teams,
Batman
most of the
sources.
teams want the cap circumvention to like be gotten rid of. So
Well,
like
it should be. Yeah.
so
I think that's
I-
that's ever gonna happen.
so
though. The players
corporate
have to
might
agree
be
to
okay
it.
with it, but the teams won't.
The
No, it
players
should-
really
it should
want
be
that in the
gone.
game. That's the thing.
You can extend the cap by like 2 mil, but that's it. So you can call up like AHL guys.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But at the same time, I don't see like I don't know. If you have guys on your NHL squad and they're still healthy, then why are you calling up like rookies to play in the playoffs, you know?
I think the
Montreal
biggest
last year?
problem, the worst thing was Kucherov when he did that and was chirping like
obviously.
Montreal and everything like that. Like
Mhm.
that was a bad look for the league because it was like literally
But
Kucherov
they
walking
loved
around
it.
wearing a shirt. They didn't though because
loved
now
it.
there's a lot more things
Coked
like.
up Kucherov.
Wait,
The-
but what does that have
the
to do with
NHL
cap circumvention?
Can I finish? The
Come on,
NHL
finish.
sends like third-party doctors and stuff like that have to go and clear players that are put on LTIR to see if they're actually like playable or not. So like it may seem like they don't do stuff, but I think they do actually try. But
Yeah,
it
but as
doesn't-
a player, you can just be like, I don't feel good. I don't feel good enough to go.
But that's also not always how like medical stuff is like done. Like you can look at someone and say like, oh yeah, this person's back is messed up, or oh this person's knee is messed up. You can look at like an X-ray or something like that. So I don't know.
If I'm a player sitting on LTIR and I know I'm sitting there till playoffs, and a third party doctor comes up and says, well, your knee has been surgically fixed, I can say, I don't feel good enough to play. I don't feel like I
Right.
can play at the top of my game. I'm not at 100%, therefore I'm not going to play.
Mhm.
And they can't be like, well, you know, I think you're lying based on my medical opinion that your knee is surgically repaired.
That's a good point.
I hear that, but I also think like how many of these guys
I mean-
are actually scummy enough like Kucherov to do that. You know what I mean? Like I don't
It's
know
not
if
Kucherov's
I think these
decision.
guys would
I don't
stoop
know
low
if
to
I
win
think
the
it is
cup.
Kucherov's decision.
Well,
If
I
he wanted to play, like he should have been like, put me back in the lineup. I can play.
They can't.
That was
They didn't have
definitely
the cap.
the league deciding to do that.
I do
And
get what
they
you're
should have
saying,
done
and I think you're right to an extent. But with Kucherov, the problem is that gave Tampa Bay such an unfair advantage. And even though they were able to do it, and now other teams are like, oh well, if they can do it, then we can just do it again, and then nothing's going to happen to us. Eventually, the chickens are going to come home to roost, and then there's going to be a bigger, not really punishment, but a fix levied that's gonna hurt the teams more. I don't think the problem is. I mean,
Chicago did it in 2014 or 15,
right? Like
whatever
good for them for figuring it out and being able to do it. I said this to Chris before. I said, you know what? If a team is able to do it and pull it off, then hell, why not? Because it'll just help them in the playoffs.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, like if Vegas does it, they're gonna be like 20 mil over.
Yeah.
So they're doing it with like 3 guys, yeah.
All of fat contracts.
Like 4, and 3 of them are on my fantasy team. So
It's like Riley Smith,
Mark Stone, Max Pacioretty. Although Pacioretty's back.
He's back to ready.
then
Yeah, they brought
Yeah.
back
Alec Martinez. Or
Martinez. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think I think you guys are looking at it as like people are getting screwed in the playoffs, and but at the same time,
Totally.
like put the playoffs aside. What if making like cap in the playoffs stays? Like, what does that do to trade deadline and to signing free agents and stuff like that? Like, you have to keep that.
on the thing.
I think it does a lot because then like a team that has someone out who's going to be like on IR for a bit, but then comes back in the playoffs. Like, what are you supposed to do then? Like, you dropping one of your best dudes?
Well, the
in
way
playoffs?
the way it's heading is it's going to be he can't play.
Some cap. Yeah.
Right. It's going to be he can't play if you're over the cap.
You're going to have to dump the like
Mhm.
overpaid third liner.
I don't know if that's a good idea. I really don't, because I think like say Sidney Crosby's out till after the trade deadline, and the Pens bring in someone to.
If Sidney Crosby's out,
okay.
you don't
Alright.
you don't
You're not
go
even
and
gonna listen to
trade.
me.
No, let me finish. If Sidney Crosby's
Why would I let you
out,
finish? You didn't even let me finish.
if Sidney Crosby's hurt, you don't go and trade for Pedersen or something. Like you don't go trading for Elias Pedersen. There's no reason to, because you know you're going to have Crosby back.
But you're not
And
going
if-
to. What if
if
you
you-
don't make playoffs?
Then you don't make playoffs.
If you don't make playoffs, then you don't make playoffs.
What if Crosby gets injured at the end of the season? You know he's going to be out till past the trade deadline of the next season, and
He
you
gets a
decide like
massive injury and is out for like a year and a half or a year. Or
Yes.
so. Okay.
yes, which he's
Alright.
had in his career,
Yep.
and
All right. Yeah.
you decide like you need a top line center for your team. And
Then you
what do you
bump
do?
up
Malkin.
getting Malkin up to the top line.
He is sitting
all
there.
right, you're gonna nitpick my teams instead of listening to what I actually want to say because you don't.
No,
you can't.
I am listening.
You can't admit that doing that would hurt your team specifically. That in the long run.
Well, Ben,
If
It
you wanted to
absolutely
bring in
would.
JT Miller, it
The
absolutely
thing
would
is
hurt
that-
hurt your team.
the thing is that you wouldn't, if that's a rule, then you would look at your team and say, well, we can't trade for this guy because we're not going to be able to bring back
Yeah, or you
this
look at
player
it
in
and
the
say,
playoffs.
you say
We're not gonna have the cap.
we need to move extra stuff, extra pieces, either unload more cap or get a third team involved to drop the cap hit.
Like Arizona.
So it
You can only take 50% of someone's cap hit. So what if
Yes,
you're
but-
getting a max deal that's still $5 million?
So say you have a guy that's making 10 mil, and the team that you're trading for retains 50%. You bring in the third team to retain 50% of 50, so you're paying him 2.5. He's getting 7.5 from other teams,
And you do
and
that?
you're trading.
You can do
yes,
that.
yeah, that's why teams bring in the third, like to lower the cap hit, so you can get other guys. You're just gonna have to pay more, and you're gonna have to pay other teams just to eat cap.
Yeah, but I feel like that also
Like the Arizona
screws,
Coyotes.
I feel like that
Like the
screws a
Coyotes.
lot. I feel like that screws with trading and signing for agents and stuff like that a lot, especially
But
with
I'd say that makes
players
the
with
league more
long-term
competitive.
injuries.
I'd say that makes
I-
the league more competitive because then teams like Arizona can stockpile the draft picks. They can either use those to draft good players, or they can trade them then for other players once those cap hits are gone. Also, there's a minimum cap, so like they have to get up to a certain point. So if they're paying half of Jack Johnson's like $9 million salary or whatever he makes, then they can use that to get up to the cap floor. So
Yeah.
it my question is if you have the cap in the regular season, why would you not have it in the playoffs when it really matters?
And if they change it like a soft cap, then you're just becoming the NBA.
Yep.
And that ruins the
Or-
league.
Which we want to avoid. Because then
Yeah,
you have
look,
like the
I mean,
Brooklyn
look at the
Nets.
NBA, look at the MLB. It's
Everyone just
whatever
plays what they want, and they
it's
get
the
huge
biggest market
contracts.
teams. The players make twice, three
Yeah.
times the money than the NHL guys because there's really no cap.
Yeah, it's just the richest teams rule.
Right.
It's like
So
this year
Arizona
it's
would
gonna
never be good.
Yeah,
They're a small
they would
market.
just be a money dumping ground. I mean, they're not even going to be there in a couple of years, but
So then there's like for those owners, there's no point to own that team. Or unless you buy it and move it, which you're making a massive investment trying to hope that you can pull guys in when the biggest markets are already taken.
I don't know. I see it, but I also think that it wouldn't be good for the league. I don't, and that's coming from someone who lost to the Lightning in the playoffs. Like,
Welcome to the club.
I don't
Welcome to
know.
the
We have
club.
jackets.
They got 2 fluke
Add
rings,
pocket track.
So
Okay. It always circles back to Pocket Shrek.
all right.
Oh,
Well,
I mean, as do all things in life.
all right. Do we want to move on?
If you have a problem with Pocket Trek, then you have a problem with me. I suggest you let that one marinate.
All right,
Okay.
Pocket Trek. Do we want to move on?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So next on the agenda, we got TNT versus ESPN, the worst TV deal ever. Gary.
Oh yeah.
You know, this is gonna be really good for the league. And then Sports Center doesn't even cover hockey.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
They have all the
expect.
TV rights, but they still don't shut up about baseball and basketball, and barely baseball. It's like, oh, LeBron James ate a sandwich today.
Yeah, I
And
don't understand.
that's the lead story on Sports Center.
I mean,
they
that's-
gotta
that's
have
what
some
people
sort of
wanna know.
agreement.
That is what the
with
people wanna know.
because like the NBA, like they get so much airtime for the littlest things. Like no one wants to hear about how LeBron like spit on the side of the court and
They don't even show games on ESPN.
Like,
Well, yeah, I know.
They
They're
show
on
games on
ABC.
TNT or
No,
NBC
ABC.
or ABC. Yeah,
TNT is the other. But the thing is there's no reason for ESPN already has a major sports that they cover. I mean, they cover one NFL game a week. They cover a couple MLB games. But the NHL needs to find a different company to pick them up. Like NBCSN was good.
it worked because the only other things they do are like the Olympics and like NASCAR or something. Or I'm pretty sure that's ESPN too. So.
My real problem with it is the broadcasts are so different. It's really embarrassing. The Penguins played three national games this week, so
I mean,
I got to watch them. The ESPN ones are like you can mute.
I mean, the
you can
announcer
mute
award
them.
wasn't bad.
You can mute them and you don't miss anything.
The
I don't
Cavs
remember
game
who
wasn't
was
bad.
I don't remember who was in the first one, but the second one, like, yeah, like Ray Ferraro is good. I like Ray Ferraro.
Yeah, it was Sean McDonough and Ray Ferraro. And Sean McDonough's okay. He's not. He's like usually a baseball or football announcer, but he did okay. But Ferraro was good. But I mean, where's your third person?
The
was
worst
only
part
those
of it-
two.
The worst part of it is the intermissions, and I think that's where you see the biggest discrepancy because the TNT one, you've got Wayne Gretzky,
You got
You
way
got
too many
Biz.
people.
You got Biz.
So like, there's
Let's go.
entertainment value.
he's great on that.
Oh, yeah,
actually.
He's so funny.
okay. He
Instant
kind of
Carter?
acts like a clown.
Well, that's
Instant
the point.
Carter's good.
right?
Anson
And
Carter's
you
good.
got Liam McHugh. So like, you have a lot of good guys and guys.
And
that have been
Rick
hockey
Tocchet.
players.
Tocchet's good on
Tocchet.
that too.
Tocchet, yeah. ESPN, I know they have Chelios and Messier, and
Chelios, Messier, and just like some host.
that can be fine, but it's just not as entertaining. But the other game that I watched from the Pens, I don't remember which one it was, but the two people there was three in the intermission, whoever the host was, I don't remember. And then it was Hillary Knight and Rick DiPietro.
Oh.
And their input was so boring. They were saying literally nothing. Rick DiPietro the whole time, he's like, yeah, they're chipping pucks deep and they're skating and they're forechecking. And it was like literally listening to the interview that they do twice every intermission where they talk to Brian Rust or like Nick Backstrom and they're like, oh yeah, we got to get pucks deep, and this is a good team we're playing against, but I think we're doing well. We just got to keep working hard. We'll pull it out. Like
Mhm.
it adds absolutely nothing because they say the exact same
Mhm.
thing every time. And yeah, I mean Hillary Knight's like a good hockey player, but she didn't add anything. It was just like there's no interesting stories, there's no hot takes. It's just so
It's.
boring
I
that
mean,
they,
Gretzky's been okay, but I mean, when they tried him on TV the first time a while ago, he
Well,
was not good.
Yeah, but the
'Cause
thing is, there's a
it's
difference
not a
between
lot of
Wayne Gretzky,
personality.
right? But you bring Gretzky on because he's Wayne Gretzky.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's
You
not
know,
just
he
Wayne
could sit
Gretzky,
there.
let's- yeah.
He could
He's
sit
actually
there
been
and shut
giving-
up if they want.
They
and he would still
they
bring
like
in people.
they like set him up now for some like good stories. Or
Yeah.
He gives
something.
good
Yeah.
takes. He gives
But-
interesting takes in the league and talks about like the top teams. and
But
stuff
if
like
you
that.
leave him
It's-
out there to drive the conversation, like he's not gonna.
no,
he's
they,
not
they
gonna
have they already have a guy on that desk to drive the conversation.
Yeah.
He is
Can I talk
good,
about
yeah.
something positive with this with the
But
TNT broadcast actually?
Sure.
I just want to say one thing about Rick DiPietro because I didn't even know he was an analyst.
Yeah, I didn't
I
either.
hadn't
Yeah,
seen
and
him on any.
he literally last
I had
year.
only heard about because earlier this week I was watching some like video about like worst contracts in NHL history. Which
Yeah.
I have no problem
Yeah.
with Rick DiPietro. Great goalie, screwed
Horrible
by
contract.
injuries.
Horrible contract.
Screwed by injuries.
Horrible contract by Garceau.
And but I they said in that like he's like an analyst for like ESPN now. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that because they barely even do hockey.
Yeah, and
So-
you want to know something hilarious? He was making money until last year from the Islanders, and he hadn't played a game in like 8 years.
I thought he was
That's
going to be
crazy.
getting
Who was the
paid till,
dude who
like,
signed that deal,
2028.
Reg?
I think it was Garth Snow. No, I
Garth
think it was,
Snow.
I think it was
Garth
Gar- I'm pretty sure it was Garth Snow.
No, I thought who was the crappy dude who
Milbury.
was on
Peter
the-
Chiarelli
Milbury.
did
I'm
not
pretty
work
sure
for
it was
the
Milbury.
Islanders.
I'm pretty sure
Milbury
it
was
Milbury.
no, Milbury was a while ago.
No, he was like the 90s.
He
But
signed
yeah, he was a
some
clown.
awful
He was an
contract,
absolute
I
clown.
remember,
Well, he
but
signed a
was-
lot of awful
I hate that
contracts.
Yeah,
guy.
he did.
It was Garth Snow.
For the TNT broadcast, I actually really like the pre-game skates that they do and like interviews and talking to the players.
I like that
Like,
too.
They
That's sick.
they do like a little interview.
They
while
skate
they're
around, right?
warm-ups.
Yeah, they
in
skate
warm-ups.
around and they talk to him. That's cool, but
It's,
We got to
it's-
do more games.
They've added little yes, and I think the
They do
tough
have to
thing
do more
with TNT
games.
is that they're only Wednesday nights, and like they didn't really get a lot of games
know that.
for them. If they were doing like I don't know,
But no,
2
they
nights a
did
week or something
Saturday.
like
they
that,
did yesterday.
I think they did
NBC
do this.
NBC
They do more. They
would,
do more.
would do a game like every night there was like a bunch of games.
Yeah.
Yeah. TNT does like they get more games at the end of the season. I think for this season.
The
And
only
then-
the only problem with getting more games is that they have to get that whole crew together for every game. And like I know I think Biz does Coyotes stuff sometimes too, and he's like flying all over the place. Anson Carter
Yeah.
does Islanders games too.
Pocket does.
Anson Carter's great.
Pocket does Flyers
Anson,
stuff.
I love Anson Carter with the
I'd
Isles
say
too.
Anson Carter's probably the best guy in that
I
intermission.
think he
crew.
does. He does Islanders and Rangers, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know about the Rangers, but I do
I
know
might
he does
be wrong
Isles
on
and
that,
TNT. But
I
and
know
you're
Tucker
not going to
does
get Gretzky
Flyers
for every
stuff.
game, so like it's going to be very tough to get that whole crew together. So I understand why they don't do that
Ben,
many
Ben,
games.
who'd you say does Rangers stuff?
No,
You
I
think?
said
Anson
Tocket does
Carter.
Flyers stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He does like Flyers radio or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, because he played for the Flyers,
Right, so they're all doing different stuff.
He's probably gonna
And
be
it's-
coaching the Flyers next
except
year,
for
honestly.
Wayne Glensky.
That's why, like, I think with ESPN, they're able to get those people a lot more. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, Rick DiPietro's, I mean, good for him. He made a bag off the Islanders and didn't play for a long time, but he
good years.
has time. Hillary Knight, I'm not sure. I really don't know what else Hillary Knight does.
plays
Does she
hockey.
still play?
Yeah,
Does she play in the Olympics?
She's in
Okay.
her like young 30s. She's still playing for US.
Oh
though.
shit! I didn't know she was that young.
I believe she plays for like one of the teams in the PWHL as well.
Okay,
so.
gotcha.
But it's like not everyone that plays should be on the desk.
Well, that's
Yeah,
fine.
no,
Yeah.
It's there's like plenty of dudes that don't have the person. Like most of the dudes who are like the greatest players of all time don't have much personality.
Crosby
Right.
would be horrible. On
It's
desk. He'd be
usually
so
good
boring.
grinders.
Like you don't
That's-
see Brian
That's the only
Trottier at
bad
Islanders
thing
desk.
you're gonna-
You know what I mean?
Oh,
You
sorry.
see Butch Goring because he's a funny clown guy.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
hilarious, and he also played. He
Trottier
also won a lot of
has
cups.
a decent personality.
He
but-
does.
but yeah,
He does. Yeah, but he's.
I don't know if he's a desk guy. but
right. He's not like a Butch Goring where he can just sit there and tell stories and be a funny color commentary
that's
guy.
That's the best because then they have funny stories. Like Bob Airy was like a bottom sixer or middle sixer
Yeah.
for like the Lemieux Yager teams,
hmm
and he has so many like funny stories of like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like this stuff happened, and it was like we used to like razz on these
Yeah,
guys.
it's the
Just
same thing.
Yeah,
with us.
I'm surprised the Penguins haven't used Rene Bork because he was like the same thing. He was a middle six
Rene
guy.
Rencourt.
He's a pretty good personality for sure.
Chris,
Rene Rencourt.
Chris.
He has pretty good personality for it. But I mean, there's plenty of dudes like in the league today that would do it. I think one of the worst dudes NBC had for intermission reports was Patrick Sharp.
Yeah, he wasn't
Really?
great.
He did
Sharp
not
wasn't
have
that-
much of a
He
personality.
kind of would just be like, "Hey guys," he was like the
still
eye
have
candy.
it?
He was all
Yeah,
smiles.
yeah.
He was all smiles. He's like,
I thought they still
I really
had
like
him.
that. And also,
I think he's still there.
I thought
he's
I
doing
thought
something.
I thought he was
still
PK Subban.
Um, Chris, I was just scrolling through the topics channels, and I think there was someone that you were saying that you missed on the national broadcast.
I was gonna get to that. Ray Ferraro he's awesome. You know, I don't know who else they have. Bush, I think.
Every
sometimes
line I
he says
hear, I
glass.
think
Yeah,
of
Bush is there.
NHL now.
Yeah,
I hear
Bush
but-
is on the
Ferraro.
desk now, I
but
think. I might be wrong.
My
He's
my
the
biggest
worst.
issue is like when they get to playoffs, and I know like they go back and forth on who has the Stanley Cup. When you think of the Stanley Cup, like the finals, the playoffs, you think of the
Doc
like
Emmerich.
the Doc Emmerich calls of like the he shoots and scores. Like it's iconic.
It is.
Those are so
That was a
important to the
pretty good
game.
impression.
That was
Thank
really
you.
good. Doc
And-
Eddie Pierre.
Doc Eddie Pierre, that like it's so iconic. You know who's gonna be there because they're the best at what they do. Now they're gonna go back and forth between like it's
Like
gonna be
Gord.
it's gonna be different every year, and it's gonna be like, oh, who is this? Is this Kenny Albert? Like
Can I make a
Kenny
comparison?
Albert or like Gord.
yeah,
Can I
Yeah.
make a
Go ahead,
comparison for me? Pierre Maguire was like the Joe Buck of announcers for me for the NHL. Like,
whoa.
I hated him, but I also was like he was hilarious to listen to because he
Joe
just
Buck
sucks
is a
so bad.
cornball.
But
Yes.
I agreed, and I think that's
Joe
kind of a
Buck's the
shitty
worst.
comparison. But like,
Ben just didn't
Pierre-
like him because he gave obscure facts.
yes, because Pierre was like so dumb, and he would just talk about nothing. He'd be like, "Oh my god, I know exactly where this guy went to high school. I've been there 5 times." It's like Pierre, no one knows about that high school that guy went to.
That's
Ben,
that's
I'll
what
give
that's
you-
what we
I'll
love
give you
about
my
him.
Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
I said that's what we love about him.
Exactly.
Agreed.
It's
And
obscure facts.
that's what they're missing. I miss Pierre Maguire on the national broadcast.
Being a meme.
I
Yes.
didn't like him. I did not think he was like that awesome, but he was so funny, and like they would cut to him and he would be like eating a banana or like
talking to some
Sucking on a
player.
chili dog.
like sniffing Phil Kessel's breath. Like you're not going to get people to do that.
How's your breath doing?
It's that bad, eh?
He has such a
I
goofy
think
voice.
He was just he was just hilarious, and it was just the unintentional comedy factor that they're totally missing. And some of the broadcasts, especially the ESPN ones, are just so dry, and it's totally
Yeah,
It's tough.
they went for big names over entertainment.
Right.
And now Pierre's with
The most entertaining guy on the broadcast now is Biz by a mile.
I would
But,
agree
like,
with that.
Oh, with Anson
And I
Carter.
think he
Well,
brings the-
entertaining, yeah, it's probably Biz.
Anson Carter is like he's a robot. I like
Oh,
him. But
I'd
he is,
love
he
to.
Carter's
is-
not a
He is
robot.
such
He's
a
so
robot.
sick. He's not.
he's
I
like,
wouldn't say he's a
"Guys,
robot.
how you going? It's me, Anson Carter. He's just he gives I don't know.
You just said a normal voice. Hi, how's it going, guys? It's me, Anson
Hey, guys,
Carter.
it's me, Anson Carter.
That's
Exactly
what else
like-
would you say if you were on a broadcast and they introduce you? Hello,
I
guys.
don't
It's
know,
me,
it's not my
Ben.
job.
Hey guys, it's me, Biz. I'm a clown. I'm already drunk.
The one thing I will say is that the TNT one, I think when they bust out like the foam pucks,
Jägermeister.
it's so goofy.
It's so
like,
funny, dude.
It's
Yeah.
funny, but
Like
it's
Biz misses every pass and stuff, dude.
Yeah,
That was so
it-
funny.
it's
And,
like-
and then Gretzky snipe, but
Yeah.
but he
they
can't
just
lift the
pose
puck.
there. They just pose there with the sticks, and it's like, guys, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Come on, like, what's this really adding?
They are trying to be the NBA TNT broadcast because
That's
they're
exactly
like,
what
you know, I'm gonna
Yeah.
post up on Charles Barkley
Yeah.
now, and the
Yeah.
Kenny's gonna swing around.
But I mean, that's
There's nothing
it
wrong
is
with that.
different.
They've been doing it
It's
for a long
different,
time
though.
and they do it good.
It is different though when you had people from the NBA that were like in the league 10 years ago, and then you have like Gretzky, who's the GOAT, obviously, but like in a different total era.
Old man.
And then Biz, who's like a fourth liner, so he's an
Barely.
AHLer.
Yeah, put Wit out
Yeah.
there.
Call her
so
trophy
he can be like,
champion.
I hate
Wit out
all of
there.
you.
Dude, Wit would be so bad. Wit would be like nervous and would be.
Well, he's done NHL Network stuff, dude. I was able to like see some of the old clips of him on NHL Network. It's pretty funny.
I'm sure. He's
Like because like obviously me and Ben listen to Chicklets and like we hear what he says now and like the way he talks and holds himself, but it's just so different from like NHL Network because he's trying to be professional and stuff. It's pretty funny.
Yep.
He's like the most unprofessional person.
Speaking of NHL Network,
No, Sean Avery.
I'll swing it to TSN. That's another like.
Oh,
Pierre
TSN's
Maguire,
awesome.
If you haven't seen the Pierre Maguire TSN like
Oh,
cringe
they're
compilations,
great. They're
you
great.
have to look them up. 'cause
He
they're
did
so
whatever he
funny.
wanted. TSN. He just say whatever popped into his head.
Yeah.
He has
he
absolutely
was just
no
muttering to
filter.
himself.
And some of the stuff that he says, like,
Oh,
you're an
Pierre.
announcer with a long stick from time to
Oh man.
How close
I
he is.
just love the Phil Kessel one where he's like,
Yeah.
so Phil, how's the breath? And he's like, oh, it's that bad, eh? he's like, no, I mean
Yeah,
conditioning.
I mean, your conditioning.
Oh,
Great
boy.
question, Pierre. Yeah.
All right, so we basically all think NBC was better.
NBC
yeah,
was better than
yeah.
ESPN for sure.
For
yeah,
sure. I think
TNT's
TNT.
not terrible, but
If they,
might do
dude, if
more
it was
games.
NBC and TNT, if that was somehow possible, which I know it's not, but that would be
Yeah,
money.
if you could have Eddie and Doc and
Just
Pierre
put Biz with Eddie.
with the Biz and
That would be
Gretzky
great.
that would be
Yeah,
that'd
that'd
be
Just
great.
put Biz behind the glass.
That-
We need to
I-
have a new like go-to announcer because it seems like they're trying to find someone, but all these guys have bigger jobs than announcing NHL.
There won't be one
Football
until
talk.
they give me the
Right.
call to be a Doc impersonator.
I
but-
guess, or a Jack Edwards impersonator.
I would love Jack on the national stage.
I would
Okay.
no.
We'll
there's
put that in the
so
topics
many
channel.
people hate him.
There's a
I
hot
gotta say,
take.
He's a terrible announcer.
He is a terrible announcer, but the thing is, how
He
many
doesn't
announce the
how many
game. He's like a
announcers
dad.
in the league?
Martian,
How many announcers in the league, like young people, actually know, and teams,
McLaughlin.
fan bases know? You know what I mean? He's the
'Cause they hate
enemy
him.
of the league. I know that's what I'm saying.
McAvoy.
Everyone hates him because of how much of a villain he is. But like,
It's because he's
you
a
ask
homer.
you
Yeah.
ask me who the Pens announcer is, I have no idea because I don't listen to Pens broadcast. Chris probably.
Well, you're also not a
That's
Pens
a fan.
fan.
I know that's what I'm saying. But like,
But the
all
reason
of
I
you-
know
all
Jack
of-
Edwards is because I grew up in a Boston home.
true.
This is fair.
But you also
People know him
I-
because of
I
the
think if
stupid
you
things he
actually
posts on
didn't, you would
Twitter. He's like,
know who he is.
he'll be like at Elias
Surhan,
Pettersson, you
Surhan
suck at
for
hockey. You should
prisoner
never
of the
play
year."
again. The Bruins
only-
own you.
The only like an announcer that gets talked about on like Chicklets, which is I would say one of the biggest hockey platforms out there for
Yeah, I
podcasts,
never heard him.
easily.
I
is,
don't know.
is
Eastin and
Jack Edwards,
Feastin.
and they talk about a couple other ones like once in a while, but they hate that guy on there, and that's the only reason he
Good.
gets talked
For good
about.
reason.
Wit just gained a few points in my opinion because he doesn't.
Yeah,
like
he hates Jack Edwards. He roasts him every time.
They always talk about like Jack Edwards smoking weed and stuff. It's pretty funny.
Like the broadcast from hell. It's like Jack Edwards, Sean Avery, and Leah Hextall.
Oh my god, that would be so bad. Sean Avery, like that guy would not be able to.
He's like, hey, f you.
Oh, dude,
They
Avery,
would not put that
Avery,
bad
and
on TV.
Avery and
No, they would not.
Edwards would be all over each other the entire time.
Oh,
Like, he
Jack
hates-
Edwards.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
they
would.
do not like each
Yeah.
Oh,
other.
Sean Avery, you're so
He
sexy.
like whacked Tim Thomas in the back of the head in the playoffs or something like that. So
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
it's a couple points in my book for Sean Avery. Then.
So the next
yikes, Matt.
topic: Ryan
a Ranger.
Getzlaf,
Let's
Hall of Fame.
why don't we talk about let's get some disagreement going, you know. Let's
Oh,
get
yeah.
a little some
Oh,
heightened
yeah.
drama for the comment section.
Yeah.
What do
For
we
that, if you're at CJ Bourne.
let's what do you think is gonna pull the best drama here, Nick?
I know. I know it will.
What?
You really want me to do it to you, Nickus?
This is gonna be some trip on me about the
No,
Caps
it's not.
and
It's not.
the,
It's
yeah.
not.
Let's hear it. Let's hear
I
it.
wish
What
it
is
was
it?
true.
Let's hear it.
How you like your meat cooked?
I like this.
Oh, that? This isn't dramatic at all.
This is very dramatic, and I don't
This is
think
very
you
dramatic.
realize how
We'll
dramatic
step
it
we'll
is.
step away
Very
from hockey for a moment.
Dramatic.
For a
is
Step
so
away from hockey
good.
for a second. Go into my realm, cooking
Well
Go into my
done.
realm. Meat.
meat.
Eating.
Yeah,
Eating.
fair enough.
We had already really discussed this and determined it. I don't order a steak at a restaurant, so I don't know how I get it done. I order a burger, I get it well done. That's kind of
All
like
right,
the
all right.
only meat I order.
Matt, why don't you lay the
Lay the groundwork. Lay the little
Yeah.
background, shall we?
Yeah, exactly. Give us, like
Well, as somebody who has eaten many a steak and many a burger, and many other meats, to be fair, i.e. chicken and others and whatnot.
Okay,
Um,
we've all
Hard
eaten
pause. That's a
meat.
hard pause.
Should I just... Okay, Ben. All right. Should I just list the meats that I've eaten? Or...
No.
no.
Anywho, when I go to a restaurant, okay, if I'm going to, obviously it's different if you're going to like Five Guys or any fast food place, it doesn't matter. This doesn't apply. If you're going to a sit down restaurant that has burgers and it's a not disgusting
Like
joint,
cowbell.
sure,
All right.
perfect,
Why is that always the
Cowbell
one?
and Biddeford.
sure.
It's like
Cowbell
it's
and Biddeford,
okay.
Maine. If you're going there and you're ordering a burger, the place is known for burgers, right?
Yeah, it's a burger place.
It's a burger joint. Well,
Mhm.
if you're
Not
going
a
there
burger
to order a
joint,
burger,
but-
if you're going there to
Whatever.
order a burger, you don't want a charred brick in between two slices of bread. Because the thing with that is, it loses so much of the flavor and what the chefs put into it to make the
I'm
burger.
going to stop you right there because a well done burger is not a charred brick.
I've had a well done
Stop you
burger.
right there.
I've
I'll
had a
stop you
well-done
both right
burger.
there. Five Guys. Is there any pink in the burger? No.
No, that's why I said Five
And
Guys
is
doesn't
it a
apply.
brick?
That's why I said Five Guys doesn't apply because Five Guys
Yeah.
falls under fast food, even though it's a wonderful establishment.
There's a difference between
Burger
well
joint.
done and burned. There's a
Yeah,
there's a massive-
about 1 minute on the grill.
Can I tell you something, guys, about when you get your burger or steak? Well done?
Absolutely, Ben, because I know you're in the same ballpark as me.
I know. I'll tell you how I get my food.
It's
I
very
usually
dramatic.
I don't eat that a lot of steak, but I do. When I get steak, I like a medium rare, right? And for burgers, I like medium, clean.
You never order medium,
I get medium burgers. I do.
Chris.
I've changed my ways. I
Is this
Ben
cap?
usually gets medium
Can
well.
we get a
as
fact check
well.
on this?
I've never been at a restaurant where Ben has ordered.
I can't remember the last time I was at a restaurant with Ben, so I'll let it slide.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
get medium. Like
Until we
this,
can get this
swear.
fact checked.
I
Until we
swear.
get this fact
Yeah,
checked.
we can get a fact checked if you want it. But
I don't know how
when
can
you
fact
cook
check that,
a
but-
steak or when you cook a burger or any piece of meat, really, when you're cooking it for that long, it loses way more liquid and way more juice in the meat,
Yes.
which is where the majority of the flavor of the meat comes from.
Yes.
Losing a
Thank
lot of
you.
that makes it lose a lot more flavor. So what Matt is trying to say by saying it's a burnt brick, I think, is saying that it doesn't taste as good.
I'm saying that it's criminal.
Let me
it
ask you
literally
something.
doesn't.
You're saying that the flavor from the meat comes from the meat.
What?
No, I'm not
That's
saying
Yeah.
what
that
you
at
just
all.
said. The flavor from the meat.
The
comes
meat
from
is
the
losing all its flavor,
Yes.
Yeah, when you overcook it. Yes.
so the flavor comes from the meat.
Okay, so what's your point?
I don't know.
So
Chris.
eating the meat would be the same flavor. Just because I
No.
don't want to eat something
No.
straight off the cow that's still mooing, doesn't mean that
Well,
that
what's
there's
the
no
problem with that?
flavor.
What's if by you saying straight off the cow still mooing? First of all, you're saying steak tartare. Second of all, what is that? What is the problem with that then? Because it's
I
not going to
think
make you
it's
sick.
disgusting.
It's not going to make you sick.
It's
I think it's gross.
it's
I
not getting your
don't.
steak like blue
I
or
don't-
anything. It's not like
When I order a well done burger or steak, I don't order it well done because I don't want to get sick. I order it because I don't want to eat it as red or pink.
But
'Cause
what
I
what
think it's
deters
gross.
you from that? What
I
deters you
think
from
it's
that?
gross
Why? What's gross about it? The
because
color
I
pink.
know what raw meat looks like.
Okay,
it's
you
not
know,
raw meat, though.
I mean,
You're not getting
you put a
like,
bow tie on a
it's
pig, it's still a
medium and
pig.
It has some pink on it. It's just pink.
How does that apply at all?
How does that
Just 'cause-
apply at all? Just
Let me tell
cooking
you-
it more doesn't change
When you
what it
cook-
is.
What is
When you're
cooking
cooking
meat
Yeah,
do?
it does. Yeah,
What
it
does
does.
cooking meat do?
It changes the color of it.
It turns it brown. So if
It
there's
depends on
meat
when
in the
you stop
middle
cooking it, though.
that's still red, what does that imply?
So I think you're confusing like a sear on the outside and the middle
not
being
true.
raw with the sear on the outside and then the middle being cooked still.
It's personal preference.
When the meat
It's
is
not
pink,
much of
it's
an
still
argument. Like I used to get medium well, and then like it would be cooked different ways depending on the restaurant, so that I started getting well. I don't really care. It's my personal preference. Matt, you like medium or rare, whatever you get.
Medium
It's
rare on
okay.
burgers. Rare on
That's your
steaks.
personal preference. I wouldn't eat it that way, but that's
I know.
because
I'm
I
just
like
telling
my
you that your
meat
personal
brown.
preference is wrong.
Exactly.
Well,
This is not an accepting podcast. Okay. It's just, and I'm gonna ignore the comment where Chris said he orders steaks. Well done, and we. Can,
I don't
we
order
can move-
steaks.
No,
I
no,
might
not you.
order
I
a
said
steak.
Chris. I said
If
Chris.
you get a steak well done,
Yeah, I
it's
might order
that's
a
like
steak
eating a
different than
piece
you
of
do.
tire. I swear, that's like
That's
eating
what
a
I'm saying.
piece off your tire. It's that gross.
I got to show this to Uncle John and have him throw his 2 cents and get him on for the cooking
And
podcast.
Uncle John,
All right,
guest
Chef
on
Lemon
this.
Dust.
Get
Get
Chef
in
Lemons.
here.
I'll link him in the description.
We'll have him in for a. We'll have him in for a feature.
Can I sing? Bust a move. Bust a move.
No. Anyway, meat incorrectness aside, let's move on to Getzlaff into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I guess I suppose that I can accept that you and Ben are wrong. So yeah, we can. Move
Dude,
Not with that.
We can
Matters.
go back
personal
if you want.
preference on meat.
See, what we have to do is do a cooking
Say in the comments what you guys think
Yeah.
about
Say
the
the
meat.
comment.
It's just
About the
gonna be
Schmeat topic.
a bunch of burner accounts.
Yeah,
from that
hammer
one
in the
guy.
comments if you like to eat meat. If you like to eat raw meat.
Monkanoo burner
Yeah, hit
accounts.
the video with
Yeah.
the like if you like it more pink.
Yeah, and dislike it if you like it. Well done.
Count the dislikes anymore.
I can see him; it just won't show up on the
Yeah, you
video.
can see it. Yeah, you can see it.
Oh, can you really?
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know that.
All right, so Getzlaff Hall of Fame.
All right, let's talk about the Pacquiao.
Yeah, Pacquiao Mayweather fight.
Oh my god.
Oh boy! All right, who wanted to talk about Getzlaff in the Hall of Fame first?
I got
I
you.
did.
That was you.
Oh, you.
Was you
Oh,
too?
all right, go for
Everyone did.
I don't have much of a comment on this, but I'll chime in.
Does
if I-
anyone think he's not in the Hall of Fame? Before
it.
we
Okay,
get
hold
started?
on. You got to give context. Ryan Getzlaff,
Center
Stanley
for the
Cup
Anaheim
winner,
Ducks.
famous Anaheim Ducks player,
longtime captain.
announced his retirement the other day.
Once.
Let me find
Clap
his
it up
stats
for him.
here.
Let's clap it up for him.
Yeah, clap it up for Ryan Getzlaff. Good for him.
Yeah, let's clap it up for a great career. You know,
Legendary bald guy.
Legendary bald guy.
Legendary bald guy. Had
Yeah,
yeah,
for,
tips when he
probably
got
For
the
drafted.
our
most famous
buddy
bald
CJ
guy.
Bourne out there.
most famous ball guy in the NHL, likely.
Mark Giordano.
Borowski.
I think Getzlaff is famouser.
Ryan
Um,
Getzlaff.
Ryan Getzlaff. Oh, wait, no, I already said him.
Excuse me. All right, so
Yeah, definitely most famous bald
I've
guy.
seen a lot of debate on whether or not he is an
And no
NFL
visor.
Hall of Famer.
Ooh,
So
I know Weiser.
I want to break down here
Mm,
who, if you think he's a Hall of Famer or not, and why. We'll start with that.
Huh?
We'll start with Nick. I guess he's ready. We'll start with Nick.
Matt said he didn't have much comments.
Well,
Alright.
I could talk about it if I'm starting.
I think he is a Hall of Famer on this condition because he played for the Ducks for so long, and the fact that shows something because he could have gotten more points going somewhere else maybe because they had some time where they weren't a great team. So I think because he played his whole career on one team, that shows something nowadays. He was the captain for a while. He held some franchise records.
He's the all-time
Points. Yep.
points getter in
Really?
Ducks history.
He's also
Yep.
played
Past
the
Paul
most
Over
games
Timo?
in Ducks history as well.
He passed Paul Correa.
Really?
Really? Well,
I-
yeah.
I'm-
Well, I mean, he definitely passed Timu.
Can I
wasn't
jump
on
in
the
and say
Ducks
that
for a
I
while.
would argue that Getzlaff is the greatest Duck of all time. So
Oh no,
right now,
Paul Correa.
absolutely,
Paul
absolutely best
Correa.
Duck.
I would say Paul Correa probably. Yeah.
What about Timu?
I would say Getzlaff's still better. The
I-
fact
it'd
that
have to be
he's
Paul
been there so
Correa.
long, he's been the captain for so long. He has the
Well, I
points
mean,
record, he has
Paul
the
Correa
games
was
record.
the first player they ever drafted. He was their captain pretty quickly. He had a very, very long career for them until he played 2 years in Nashville or something. I think before there was Ryan Getzlaff, there was Paul Correa, and he kind of passed the torch to him. So I think
That's a good debate.
I think Correa's the best Duck of all time, but I think
Besides John
I
Gibson.
think Getzlaff is I think Getzlaff is a close second.
Well, besides Trevor Seagrass.
I think that could go either way, Nick. But I do hear what you're saying.
I just think Paul
I agree
Correa
with
was a
what
better
you're saying.
player, just a shorter career. Yeah, I don't know. I think he is a Hall of Famer just because he played for the Ducks his whole career, and like because I mean, based on his points, he was not a point per game for his career. He had a few.
And I
over
think
point
he
per
only
game
has one
seasons.
30-goal season.
Isn't he
Mhm.
pretty close to it?
He
He's
put
pretty close to
87.
a
He
point
put
per
up
game.
87 and 77 one year. So yeah, I think he only had,
Yeah, he only had one 30-goal season. That
and
was
then he put up
2013-14.
61 and 56. So and 891. All right, so he had a few over point per game seasons, like 5.
He's
So
close
always
to
been
having a
about-
point per
yeah,
game.
I don't know. I think he is a Hall of Famer. So
He's close.
I think so too. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I think he is as well. I don't see any way that he.
I
doesn't,
think
especially because I think you're right. Because I would say that he's the best Duck of all time, and I think a lot of people would agree with me on that. And I think that
Plus, he
Team was
made
in the Hall?
what he's done for that franchise and been there so long, and how he's setting up those
team was in the Hall.
those
Yeah.
young guys that he has now.
and back then,
that
i.e.
team-
Corey Perry.
Yeah, and back then, yeah, Corey Perry. I mean,
He made
they
Corey
came up
Perry.
together.
Chris Kunitz.
Chris
I
Kunitz.
guess Ryan Whitney.
4-time
Ryan
Stanley
Whitney.
Cup champion, Chris Kunitz.
Yeah, Timu got in 2017.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you guys. Part of me wants to disagree just to play devil's advocate, but I do think Getzlaf's a Hall of Famer. Obviously, I can appreciate someone being drafted by the team, staying there their whole career, being
Oh my god.
captain for the majority of it.
Okay, Chris. This isn't
I
Penguin
can't
stuff.
stand
And certainly with winning the Stanley Cup, that's big. On a pretty good team, obviously they're the best team that year. I think he's got a silver medal in the
Didn't he
he's an
win?
Olympic silver.
Did
He's
he
an
not
Olympic
win
silver.
gold when Crosby scored the golden goal? Was he not on that team?
No, he was US.
Oh,
Getzlaf's
he's from.
US.
Why am I thinking he's from Canada?
Yeah, no,
Is he US?
he's US.
Really?
Yeah, he's US.
Why
That's
did
why
I
he's
think-
got
I
a
might be
silver
thinking of
and-
Corey Perry.
I'm pretty sure Getzlav is.
Getzlaf is from
Canadian.
I could've
Regina,
sworn.
Saskatoon.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost 100. I'm pretty sure
So
he
he has gold then, right?
gold and a silver. If I might be wrong. I'm gonna look it up.
I'll fact check it right now. You guys keep talking.
I think there's other guys around his like points and maybe games played and kind of you'd put in the same category as Ryan Getzlaf, who won't get into the Hall of Fame.
He has 2 gold
Wait,
medals.
who?
Wow.
There you go.
Okay, 2 gold medals. Never
Oh,
mind. He is
One in
absolutely
Vancouver
a Hall
and
of Famer.
Sochi.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where I saw that he was the silver medalist.
I don't know where you
think
saw he
has
was
a-
from the
he has a
USA.
he has a silver medal in
Yeah, fact.
World Juniors, I believe. He's got
Okay.
a gold
Maybe
silver medal in
that's
could
what I'm
World
be it.
Juniors.
confusing.
That could be
Maybe
it.
that's what I'm confusing. Yeah, 3-time All-Star. I mean, I think he is, and I think it's a little borderline. But I mean, being the captain for so long, mentoring that team, and
First cup
And,
to that franchise too. So
yeah,
When
Usually
you
he
think of
scores
the
1,000
Ducks, you
points
think
a
of
year.
Ryan
you
Getzlaf.
think of Ryan.
You think of
Getzlaf,
Teemu Selanne, you
exactly.
think of Paul Kariya, and you think of Ryan Getzlaf. I think.
Yeah.
At this point.
today, I think you think of him and
Chris Pronger. I mean, some people might think of Niedermeyer only because he was like.
Oh,
on the
Scott,
team when they
yeah.
When they won the cup.
Yeah.
Him and Pronger.
Now is Scotty's in the Hall of Fame, right?
I believe so. I will.
If
check
all
it
those
out.
other people are in, and
Usually, if you put
He's
over 1,000
definitely going
points,
in.
you're in.
he's definitely. I mean,
He's got
he has
over 1,000 points. He's
Josh
got a
Bailey's
cup.
almost at 1,000 points.
over 1,000 games. He holds both the franchise records for games and points on that team. 100%.
Niedermeyer got it in
somebody-
2013.
I saw somebody on Twitter say like, "Oh, anyone that is leading the team in points and games played should be in the Hall," and except for like a couple exceptions, obviously.
So Blake Wheeler's in.
Kraken.
obviously, like the newest teams, that's a bit different. But no, definitely, I think Getzlaf is. So.
Mhm.
Especially because he was at like the foundation of that franchise too, like the early days for them. Correct? Or am I wrong?
I think
No.
you're
He's been in the league.
They were
since
formed in like
2005.
1993.
Okay, so
Paul
he's
Correa was the guy who was with the team when they were formed.
yeah. Okay.
You know who's
And
almost at
he-
1,000
he-
games with their team?
Paul Correa put up like high 900s.
Are you gonna
for games
say
and
I know who this is? It's someone on the Islanders.
Josh Bailey.
Not mine.
Josh Bailey. That's right.
No, no.
982.
Wow.
Oh, Josh Bailey. Okay.
Mhm.
He'll probably be
The-
the A next year.
The guy I
No,
would
I'm gonna
would
let it go
put
1,000.
in in the same kind of category as Ryan Getzlaf would be Shane Doan.
That's a good comparison.
I
Except
think
Shane Doan doesn't have a cup.
Getzlaf has more points and less games played. Shane Doan is like 1,500, but he did not reach 1,000. He got 972. But I think that's because he played for the Yotes for like his
In
whole career.
1,500
Yeah.
games,
In 1,500 games.
I think that's a tough comparison.
I'm comparing. The comparison is because they're both captains for a while and played for one team.
I would also say that
But Getzlaf won a cup.
the Ducks are a much
lot
more
closer to
respectable
a point per
franchise.
All right, well then, who would you compare him to? That was just like a comparison off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'd compare him to.
Getzlav's Chara.
I don't know.
Chara? Not
Chara's
at
not
all.
close to a
He's a
point per
defender.
So
Yeah.
Shane Doan.
I know. I was thinking of big captain dude. So
Wide guys.
Yeah,
Wide
big-
guys
big
with no
boys.
visor.
yeah, wide guys.
Yeah,
with
John
basically-
Tavares of the Islanders.
we could-
Biz.
We could
Is
do
Biz a
that
comparison?
category.
Oh boy.
The favorite visor player, not in your own team.
Yeah. If you
Well, I would have to
not
pick Ryan
possible.
Getzlaf because I'm not picking Matt Martin because he's on the Islanders. So. Or Zdeno Chara because he's on the Islanders.
I'd pick Chara.
not
lucky for
Luch.
you.
I'd pick Chara. Chara's been my favorite player since I was
Wearing the
a wee
Luch
lad.
jersey, man?
Um,
Aren't you wearing the Luch jersey right now?
I am wearing the Luch jersey right now. Here.
Luchador.
Disrespecting the big schnoz guy. I'll give you one, Ben, that you could stew over. Ryan
Eric-
O'Reilly.
Eric Goodbranson.
Actually,
I'm gonna-
trash this year. So.
I changed my answer. Mark
Ryan
Bordiansky.
O'Reilly has been
Eric
great.
Goodbranson.
Chris, how about Brian Boyle?
Jumbo.
You
Oh,
and I-
I'm going with Jumbo.
Okay, that's a good one.
Jumbo,
That's a
Jumbo
good
is a
one.
good pick. That's a good pick.
That's a great
But
pick.
Ryan O'Reilly has to be.
Stop. He's been shitty.
He's been stanky the past couple of years. Obviously won a cup a couple of years ago. Captain, longtime St. Louis Blue. Ringing any bells?
Ringing any
And
bells.
very short time Colorado Avalanche before he
Yeah.
was traded to the Sabres. Leo Komarov, you could basically put in that category.
He's not
'cause he
the
tilts-
NHL.
he-
He's not
he-
the NHL.
I know, but he
Yeah.
tilts it so high that like,
It doesn't really
It's
do
not even
anything.
yeah.
Uncle Leo.
But yeah, I like
Also
Eric
good on the ice.
Goodbranson.
Yeah.
Jamie Benn is also in that category.
That's
Eric
not a bad
Bad
one.
Branson. He blows.
Dude, the Eric Goodbranson Zadorov pairing is like, well,
It's
if you skate down the
disgusting.
boards, you're getting hurt.
Yeah, if you're coming
Yeah.
into their defensive zone, you're gonna get injured.
Yep.
Um,
Which
In other
guys?
words, do not come
Into the zone, yeah.
into the zone.
I'm gonna come into the zone.
Okay.
All right,
boy.
Matt, you want to do your
Okay.
Masters recap?
I would love to talk about the
Oh,
Masters.
let's talk Masters and then we'll wrap up. I forgot
Masters.
about the Masters. Yeah.
I would love to talk about the Masters.
We can talk
Did anybody
about-
else?
wait,
You watched
I
it?
feel like
Get
we
him out of
missed
there,
something.
Lucas. What did we miss? Did
We
miss
did
it?
not talk about Wheeler shootout move.
Oh, did we want to talk about that? I don't even know what that is.
We can talk about
Can you
that
make a
another
nasty move?
time.
We can
But
talk
yeah,
about that next pod.
that's not
That's
much
just
of
a
a
rule.
discussion.
That's kind of died down a bit because of rules stuff. So yeah, we could talk
Well.
about that another time.
What'll do.
Take it away, Matty.
Yeah, I would love to talk about the Masters. It was pretty sick. Going into, I'll talk about who I had for my top 5. Actually, that'd be a pretty good one, because did not really pan out the way it probably should have, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, Tiger.
Because a couple guys, no, I did not have Tiger winning. I actually said Tiger was going to miss the cut beforehand, so I'm glad that he made the cut, but I knew he was not going to win it. Last couple days, he looked like he couldn't really walk the course that well. Looked like it was taking its
I
toll.
know, and everyone goes like, "Oh, well, he was just warming up day one. He's gonna really turn it on day 2."
Yeah.
I heard it was
and
a
then-
tough course. Like,
Well, Augusta,
Well, yeah.
Augusta
Lots of
The
hills.
has
first few
crazy
days
elevation.
were bad conditions, and then today was
Yeah.
really good.
I've just
Really
heard like
good
the
condition.
actual like layout of the courses, the terrain's kind of tough. So
Oh yeah, Augusta's an impossible course. I would probably shoot 150 at Augusta if I'm lucky on 9 holes. That is factual.
And you have to pay the farm.
And I wouldn't be able to play.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm not like
You can't
famous
just really
guy.
walk on.
yeah. It's like you can't just walk in and buy a Ferrari. You gotta like apply and shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had Scotty Scheffler, Victor Hovland, John Rahm, Justin Thomas, and Hideki Matsuyama. Only one I knew was a given was Scotty Scheffler because he's
number one in the world.
unbelievable. Yeah, he's disgusting right now.
What about Jordan Speed?
I don't think Jordan had a bad week, but I don't. Did he
Didn't
make
do
the cut?
great.
Did he make the cut?
No,
Oh, okay, so he did have a bad week.
no.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
tough.
he got cut after like day 1. He did really bad day 1.
Did he really? I
If
didn't
not
watch
day
him.
1, then he got cut day 2.
Well, they only get cut after day 2.
Then yeah, he got cut. I know that.
But yeah, I thought I took John Rahm because like I feel like if I didn't take John Rahm, he would have won it.
He heated up. He did really bad.
He had a good day today, but I think he ended like +4 or something. He did not do great. Hideki was like second place going into Saturday, and then he shot like a 6-over round or something on Saturday. JT was pretty good. I think he was like, what was he? He was like -1 going into, or maybe -2 going into today. And
Who?
I think he just Justin Thomas.
Matsuyama? Oh, Justin Thomas.
Did he? I think he might have shot like even or +1 or something today.
He went even. He was -1 going into today.
Okay.
But yes, Jordan Spieth was cut. He went +6.
Wow.
And like a
that's
few
tough.
good guys were cut, like Xander Schauffele,
Yeah, Schauffele.
Brooks Koepka, Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, no, but I mean, Victor Hovland too. I was like, oh, he's probably gonna play well, but then I think he ended up ending like +6 or something.
+4, yeah.
Yeah, very tough for the program. But anyway, I thought it was pretty funny at the end. I don't know if you saw the end, Nikus, where so Scotty Scheffler is -12 going onto the last
Double
green.
bogeys.
Going onto the last green. He has like a 3-footer to win the Masters for par, misses it. Has like another 3-footer to win the Masters for bogey, misses it, and then ends up making double bogey on 18 to win.
Dude,
he had a 5-shot lead going into the last green.
I was like, imagine if he just like if he got like a 10 and they're like, oh, Rory, we have to go play in overtime.
Yeah, that would be so funny.
And he's like, what?
Yeah, no,
dude,
but
he played so good today. Rory McIlroy.
Dude, he was.
I was hoping he was gonna win. I mean, he was 1 stroke away from the course record, tying it.
Yeah.
He shot like a 60.
He still needs a Masters, right, for his Grand Slam? I think the only one he hasn't won is a Masters.
Yes, he's not won a Masters.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went -8 today.
Yeah, no, I thought that was pretty funny. That Scheffler had to like 7 putt to win, or like 5 putt or something, and he ends up making double bogey. Funny.
And I mean Cameron Smith, he had a chance until he
had a tough run today,
and until he hit it into the water,
yeah.
And then his round was dead after that.
But yeah, no, I very much enjoyed watching the Masters. I always do. It's so fun. Anywho, that's all I have for the Masters. If anybody wants to talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't really watch
Did you make any picks?
Nicholas?
Congratulations to Uncle John for winning the family pool.
I watched it every day. I did not do any picks, but I thought it was really good. I was hoping Tiger would do a bit better, but I thought it was just good that he made the cut.
Yeah, good for him.
But yeah, and for basically after the cut, I was
crazy that he made it.
I will say it was like
it
was bone chilling to see the red on Sunday.
I had Zalatoris early on, expecting him to win.
He had a good round today.
He kind of slowed down, and he did really good today. And then once the cut happened, I was like, all right, I want Rory to win, and then he did really good. But
I had Dan Lafferty, and
okay,
he just had a rough day all around. Dude.
Dan
rough week.
Just making more Happy Gilmore.
Lafferty
references.
Daniel.
Lafferty Daniel. Happy Gilmore. I had Bob Barker, but he was too busy beating up some guy.
He's too busy on The Price is Right.
Yeah,
he's too busy watching Whose Line Is It Anyway.
I had Pierre McGuire for my pick.
That's so lame.
Yeah, that's a topic, Shadow. Whoever thinks Whose Line Is It Anyway is cool is lame.
Yeah, if you're watching this, you watch Whose Line Is It.
You got a problem with me. You got a problem with me.
Who thinks that's cool?
Who thinks that's cool?
Our commenter.
Does he?
The Bourne household. Whose line is it anyway? It's pretty funny. The
like
bald guy. The bald guy and the skinny dude. Like
Shane Lowry.
We do not watch it a lot, but then when it's turned on, like once every 6 months, it stays on for like the whole episode.
I say. Well, if anybody wants to debate me about Whose Line Is It Anyway, you're welcome to come on the podcast.
I'm gonna get destroyed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get destroyed?
No. I mean, whoever tries to.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, if it's
Whose
line,
yeah.
But in this man's whole Whose Line Is It Anyway?
You have like
career.
a sweaty Whose Line Is It Anyway fan. Come
Yeah.
on.
You know, man.
I can
Whose
tell
Line
you
Is
one
It Anyway?
person who's a
Great
sweaty
show
Whose
all
Line
the
Is It
time.
Anyway fan. Anywho, all right. What do we think, fellas?
I think that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say that's
I think that's good.
All right,
about the time.
Ben, you know what you have to do.
I have to say that I'm not gonna beatbox out the intro.
No.
Do it this time.
Can you please do it one time?
That's gonna be the 100th episode.
Wait, how does the song go? I don't remember.
I don't
It's
remember
like-
either.
It's like.
No, it is not like that.
Yeah, no,
It is not
yeah, there
like
we
that.
go.
No, it's like.
All right. Okay.
Alright.
Well, I'm just gonna remix Ben saying.
All right, everyone
I mean,
clap.
I think you're right to an extent into a beatbox, and then we'll.
That's
that'll
fine.
be the
Yeah,
outro.
you can do that.
Like
I agree.
turkey crumbs.
All right. Well, I'll see you boys.